Chris Fowler walking us through some memory lane here with Lee Corso on the Rich Eisen Show before Corso's final College Game Day. Again, I don't mean to spoil any surprises, but you were there today for a banquet, right, in honor of Lee Corso?
Yeah, so
right?
it's a kind of a luncheon.
Okay, luncheon.
Lee's got a bunch of people coming in. People have flown in for it, who worked with Lee in the past, other places, and a lot of family and friends. It's going to be a pretty informal thing, not a bunch of speeches, but just kind of a chance to get together and for him to see a lot of people because he'll lock it down. You know, he's been thinking about this for a long time. He'll be very emotional. He'll conserve his energy, as he always does on Friday, and then obviously go out there and have a pretty significant role in game day beyond just the pick segment, more than he has in recent years. But this is a chance to just kind of informally get together and hug him and take some pictures.
Are you going to stick around for College Game Day, or you're heading out to?
I am going to stick around for a throwback segment. Yes, there's a throwback segment early in the show, and I'll enjoy that a lot and try to keep it together. And then I'll just sit back and watch like everybody else the rest of the show unfold and the pick.
You're not wrong, man. Keep it together, right? Because I'll say here all the time, and I felt it again 2 Mondays ago, Chris, about keeping it together and reunions and throwbacks and things like that involving an ESPN show, and obviously that would be SportsCenter. But this is the sort of stuff. It's like it is the marking of passage of time, you know, and you use the word of, you know, dreading this moment that Lee would not be on the set anymore. But thank goodness he's around, right? That we're not talking about him as if he's not around, that he is part of it. And I imagine you have not been part of College Game Day itself for a bit because you're in the booth.
I left after the 2014 season,
right?
Which was a tough decision. I still see Lee from time to time because the show will be at the same place as the games we're calling on ABC, and obviously we both live in Florida, so I get a chance to see him in the off season. He's been thinking about this all spring and all summer. But this, you're a great student of TV history, Rich. So I don't know. I think in the world we live in, this is sort of comparable to like Johnny Carson's last show. But the Tonight Show, right? That show will continue, but he's one of one, and his presence can't be duplicated. And you know, if you're a Letterman fan, as I was a huge Dave fan, I think you were too. When he left, I think it's one of those moments in TV sports where it's been since 1987 that he was Game Day from day one. I joined it a few years in, but I mean that's a hell of a run, and it's a run that we're never going to see in this business again. I don't think, regardless if we're talking college football or any sport, it's a run we'll not see, and that's why it's to be celebrated, and that's why so many people are going to get misty.
Yeah, I mean, television personalities are welcomed into homes. They're part of your day or tradition, or in this case, a Saturday morning, and so obviously it is that emotional. It really is for somebody like Lee Corso to be part of something that has been part of so many people's Saturdays.
And people have said things, Rich, you know, because you do grow up watching sports on TV, and it makes an impact with you. And Lee Corso's impact on the sport, growing the sport, making the sport measurably more popular and more fun with his presence for generations of people. I can't tell you how often I get approached, and it must be tenfold for him. Listen, my brothers, my dad, we sat on the couch Saturday morning watching Game Day, and those are like beautiful, powerful memories for so many people, so many families, and so many fans. And you know, the young guy who works on the show as a production assistant who now hands Lee the headgear has told him, I was 5 years old, like running into the living room at the end of Game Day to watch you make that pick. And now he's working with him as the end is approaching. And there's so many thousands of people that have that same experience.
And then in the a few minutes I have left with you, Chris Fowler, the front row seat you've had to the Corso Herbstreit relationship. And you could see Kirk views him as a family member. There's no question about it. Father figure, grandfather figure, however you want to put it, not to get, psychological here, but you could definitely see how he's been hugging him up, loving him up, and being there for Lee in a way that you just don't see on television. And I'd love for you to give voice to this, Chris.
Yeah, I get moved with the way you describe that. I really do. You know, I think it was a parental kind of beloved uncle figure, as well as being a coach. He was a coach to Kirk. He was a coach to Desmond Howard. He's talked about that. He meant a whole lot to Desmond as well, and to me, as I've described. So whether you view him as a coach or a parent, you know, early on, he nurtured us. He helped me. He was very, very helpful and nurturing and supportive to Kirk. But then as time passes, as we know, when our own parents, you know, get older, the roles kind of shift and reverse. And so Kirk's done a phenomenal job, purely from the heart, you know, helping Lee. All of us were you know, so fearful when he suffered that stroke. It's been a long time. It's been since 2009. Coming back from that, how would it work, Rich? How would the gears mesh? Would the mind and the mouth connect? And to see him come back and spectacularly, you know, battle and overcome that. And I think later in recent years, you know, he has needed all of that love and support from Kirk, and Kirk has a wonderful way with him. And I think you'll see that. You know, again tomorrow. It's going to be fun to be part of a throwback segment for me, because you know, I don't miss a lot about game day. I like not having to get up early. I like having a Friday night. Yeah. I love what I'm doing on Saturday night, but I do miss some of that stuff. As you said, it's precious and it's priceless, and I'll have a good time tomorrow morning.
Everyone's going to be watching, man.